So I'm very excited. It's not often I get asked if I would consider like reviewing, blogging something. This isn't paid promotion, I did buy it myself, but it was already on my list, so that was just an excuse that I needed. Oh boy. One day, we'll have a good unboxing. Oh my god. And more. Oh. Mahjong. I had a whole thing planned for this year where I was going to do like, as a writer who likes Chinese style fantasies, I was going to like do a video on like architecture and then a video on cosmology and, you know, Taoist cosmology and then Buddhist cosmology. And then I did not do that. But this was one of the books that I had in mind, like I said. So consider this, I guess, a little bit that. This is also published through Amber Books, which I'm pretty sure published a book in kimono last year that I really loved. So looking forward to it. Oh my god, I just realised it also has deckled edges. I love those. I'm not sure if it was like an older edition or not, but there is like a paperback version you can get. It is much less fancy. So, you know, all things considered, I had to go with this one. So I do really appreciate the historical lead-in for this book. It gives a lot of context that I think is, you know, really necessary and really interesting. You know me though, I do love a footnote, and this is all tertiary source. That being said, there are little bits that, like a secondary source with footnotes, I feel like things that someone writing that would notice that someone writing a tertiary source wouldn't. Like the mention that there are like Mahjong cards used for fortune telling was really interesting, and there was a picture accompanying it, but you didn't actually give the name of the cards or a name of the cards. And it's not that hard to search engine, but don't necessarily know if I trust some of the sources that came up. Good evening from the snuggle pile. It has been a long week for me with work-alongs basically every day, some of them 10 plus hours. So I'm a little bit I'm a little bit sagging at the moment. The book is simply and clearly written, and I really appreciate that. It's quite easy to follow along, and when some things are, I'm not quite getting them in my head, the illustrations by Patrick Mullery are fantastic for kind of getting me back on track. I'm just really tired. I think, however, I do have like a criticism of the book out with myself, and that is for an introduction, it's a little bit encompassing. And I want to make it clear that I appreciate that. Some books are better on a reread. That's fine. It's just, for an introduction, it's a little bit much. Like, I really appreciate that it's talking about Maj, you know, like the American variations. It's talking about Riichi Mahjong. It's talking about different styles within China. I really appreciate all of that. I really even like the little insights, like sometimes, you know, the Mahjong tiles are turned so that you see the back of them, but they're more often now kind of being put on their sides rather than upright. And that's because I think they said something about Japanese gaming apps becoming more popular. Really interesting little bits. Just, it's a lot. Like, when you're trying to learn to follow along and kind of learn the basics of the game, all these different kind of variations are, they make it a little bit harder to keep like a to keep track of. And again, it's perfectly fine for a book to be better and more rewarding on a reread. This is just not a reread for me. Good evening. I am finished. I am up. And I am really happy with the book overall. All of the little things that they've mentioned, I was getting it, but there is a section called the first game where it's just like the example of a game, and it just made things click. And I really, really appreciate that. It was also a really fun section to read. I think partly because it does let you put everything that you've learned together. And then it goes into a little bit more about scoring and like longer term strategy, which was really interesting. Again, a little bit much, but the book closes out with some nice like cultural commentary, like that scene in Crazy Rich Asians. It talks about cultural variations again, but in a way that you're not like trying to like hone in on like a specific kind of play style. So it was a nice kind of cool down for the brain. There is like a score table at the back of the book, which is going to be really handy if I ever get to play. And I would still like to find people to play with, but you know, that's the problem, isn't it? There were some things that I mentioned in my review, just a few like more like very little things that they don't break the book, but you know, it's a £30 book, and I think if you just done one more pass over, you would maybe have caught them. So it is a little bit frustrating in that regard, but no, it's a really good book overall, and I'm really glad I've got it. That said, I have talked a little bit about word choice here and there, so it seems only fair to talk about my own incorrect word choice. These are not deckled edges. These are in the traditional Chinese binding style, so it is not one page. It is like a sheet of paper that has been doubled over. So it gives it a deckled edge effect, but it's not. And on that note, if you want like a more clear-headed discussion of like the book, I'm going to link to the review down below. Thank you for watching. Ugh. Thank you for watching. Bye.